still, cold world, no horizon in sight. The rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress, until the frost stopped it all, suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class. We've lost our world to snow, and with it, our last traces of humanity. We bid farewell to plenty, and for those who remained came the time to adapt. We decided to leave our homes and head north. We roamed for weeks, maybe months, leaving behind all the things we once believed had made us. It was hope that pushed us forward, slowly, step by step. We knew the cost of our journey, and we paid the price 100 times. Finally, the time has come to build the last city on Earth.
We fled from London and crossed the sea to reach the frozen north. On the way, our convoy was hit by a blizzard and scattered. A handful of us managed to reach the site of this generator, only to find it frozen solid and abandoned. Why is no one here? Did any of our people survive the blizzard? Are there any others out there? Whatever we do, we should expect the worst, now that the world as we know it has crumbled. We have to survive! I am Captain Corvin Turim, and getting to the site of this generator, I felt was the easy part. Firstly, a workshop was needed to research better technologies for survival. Then there was the priority of gathering resources while there was daylight. It would be too dangerous to do so at night. I would need to make sure that I was familiar with the standard procedures, as well as make sure that there was at least a minimum amount of coal for the generator. It would be our only source of heat in this cruel, dark world. Well, it would certainly become darker as events transpire. I also noticed that we needed to secure a supply of edible food. Because it will do no good if well, the people starve to death. Especially as all life on Earth is facing a threat bigger than any that can be manufactured. One thing that I have learned about nature, it doesn't take sides. If you're unprepared for it, it will destroy you. Just as much as the other person. I find it amusing that some people in the continent of Europe went back to worshipping the Norse pantheon. Believing this to be Fimbulwinter. And can you guess what happens after that? No. It's Ragnarok. Which is where almost everything dies. I shall endeavour to avoid that outcome. At this point, I was informed of a woman who was separated from her husband and daughter. She wanted to join the first scout team sent out to find them. I was honest and told her that we do what we can. Those worshipping this Norse pantheon let us just say that if this was Midgard, then it would bear closer resemblance to Helheim. Which is where those who did not die in battle go. Likely where we derived what we would call hell. And the reason why I had the beacon... yes, the beacon researched first. Well, it would be best to have that dealt with sooner, rather than later. Although my next priority is medical treatments. Because it's not just hunger that I should be aware of. It's also disease or injury. Yes, with the beacon researched and ready to be constructed, I had the research on heaters within key buildings started, because some of them just are unable to function without adequate heat. And with the end of the work shift, everyone went home, and I decided that it was nearing time to activate the generator for the night. Then I heard the grievances of the people that they need a roof over their heads. I promised to give them what they want within 2 days. At this point, I decided that it would be a good time for well, it could wait. I was told to not do everything the crowd wanted. I just simply said thank you, I will keep that in mind. At this point in the day, scripture has particular relevance. Let there be light. Which came in the form of the generator activating for the first time, generating both light and heat, both of which were needed to survive our first night here. Time would pass quickly. Seemingly quickly. For those of us enduring the darkness and the cold. Although I knew that this would be only a taste of things to come. That it would only get worse. Although there were some who were nervous of the current situation, they were good at hiding it, although all were relieved at surviving their first night.
Time to earn your bread.
This voice recording device, although it distorts my voice somewhat, is an effective way of documenting my time here. At this point, I decided to write a new law regarding adaptation. I could either make child labor for safe jobs legal, or have a child shelter built for them to be educated and kept out of the way. I was in favor of that one.
New law! A new law has passed!
And not just because I could not get that workhouse out of my head. Slavery in all but name. I have read about those. Separating families, where men, women, and children lived separately. Forced into the worst jobs that society would rather not do, in exchange for a meager pittance and the minimum of accommodation. I decided that this new society that was being built would need to avoid the mistakes of the past. And the workhouse, that was certainly a mistake. I knew that at some point a better way of extracting resources will be necessary. Because these piles of wood, metal, and coal will not last forever. I also knew that I would need to get on with it in regards to the construction of buildings, or more specifically, ordering others to do so. It would also help if I had, well, we had a means of gathering food. So dedicated hunters would be a good idea in that regard. At this point I decided to have the beacon built. Better now when things are not so dangerous outside the heat zone. Let us call it that. As in the area of the generator where the heat is most felt. I knew that the people would not only suffer, but be angered if promises are not delivered on. I also knew that starting the research on the Steam Hub would be a good idea, as it would allow for expansion. of what would be one of the last places that humanity could live. At least as far as we're aware. As I'm doubts, I have doubts, rather, that what remains of the British Empire are the only ones who have prepared for this. The Americans and the Russians are two others that might be able to make preparations. I was also thinking the desert regions might be a good place to shelter, as they were hot to begin with. Then the beacon rose. A majestic sight, is it not? A scouts party. At least right now, when houses need to be built. Or more to be precise, tents. Yes, that needs to be another
Night is coming. Put down.
thing on the agenda. Better housing. Housing that is better insulated against cold. As I could tell that the cold that was approaching is likely to be the least of our problems. It's one way of putting make preparations, or you shall die a horrible death. Although I kept that last part to myself. Bad for morale. Besides, yes, they were ready to search, including that woman that brought to my attention her missing family. Although the resources were prioritized towards housing. And then I thought, a sawmill would be a good idea. Why would it be a good idea? Well, it's because there are frozen trees along the perimeter. without a sawmill, they cannot be utilized. I knew that I would need to have the remainder of the houses built by this day. Time was running out. At least with that promise.
Get going! Time to earn your bread.
While many consider patience to be a virtue, I see it as a finite commodity. One that can eventually run out if too much time has elapsed before doing something. I knew that on this day, I would need to have as much steel gathered as possible. As for the next law to be written, I needed to choose wisely. I had a choice between two types of apprenticeship for the children that would be in the...
A new law has passed.
Sorry. Well, in that building that I promised to have built. And I shall. I decided upon the education of an engineer, as they would help with research. Something with a higher priority than medicine. Although there is a constant need for that as well. I had 2 more tents to have built. And when I could, I would also have a steam hub built to generate heat, where the generator is unable to reach. That is something that the engineers will need to rectify in time. With the drop in temperature nearing, it would be the last day in, well, quite a while, where the piles of resources can be gathered safely.